Hi there. My name is Michael Gwynn. I'm the Director of Strategic Projects at Feitian Technologies, and we're headquartered out of Santa Clara in California. Today, I will be discussing using FIDO with a Converged Access Smart Card for Multi-Factor Authentication, MFA, and Identity Access Management. I'll go through the generic technologies with the project. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to contact me after the presentation. So previously, many years ago, we only had a pager to give us communication and information. And we had to rely on the pager for communication. Then after that, we got these awesomely brick-heavy mobile phones that we had an opportunity to use. And once we had the mobile phone and the pager, then we had to start carrying around our address books with us if you were mobile. And then also if you were moving around or visiting clients or whatever, you had to have a Thomas guide. You had to carry all those devices. Now, to no one's surprise, we have it all neatly packed in, as well as a number of other functions neatly packed into the iPhone and the different mobile phone devices. So what we did was we took multiple functions and put them into one tool that you can carry. And we're looking to do that in the same way with the smart card. As many industries, for enterprise organizations, the users carry an ID card. Sometimes the ID card is merged with the physical access. Sometimes it's a separate fob. And now with multi-factor authentication, there's also a requirement in certain cases to use either an OTP token or a FIDO security key, and as a separate one. And what we're looking to do is combine all those functions into one Converged Access Smart Card. So what does it do for you? Well, let's take a look at what it looks like. In this case, we have a biometric smart card that can be used as the ID, and then also for the access there. And it provides the identification card, the digital access, FIDO, and passwordless authentication for digital access. It also can allow you to access for the physical access into the office or a certain workspace within the office. And then it also has the capabilities to interact with IoT. Let's look at some of the overviews of the issues as well as the solution and benefits for the smart card, the Converged Access Smart Card. First of all, with going into FIDO2 Passwordless Access, you're facing a lot of issues online for authentication with passwords. Issues such as hacking, someone gets a hold of a password or guesses a password and they can get into your account. There's a number of resets that are often required after a certain time period. The user has to interrupt their workday and think of a challenging and usually extensive password with a series of numbers and letters, and also remembering those passwords and not reusing those passwords. So the solution for that can be the Converged Access Fingerprint Biometric Smart Card. And that smart card can allow passwordless access to FIDO2 applications, as well as Microsoft Azure Active Directory and Windows Hello. And the benefits for the users on that is you have more secure digital authentication from the FIDO2 applications and the Microsoft applications, because you're now using a second and third factor, and that factor actually has your biometric on it. So any device that can be found, no one else can actually use it unless they have access to your biometric. And the increased biometric security and identity means that the exact person who is accessing the online information, the accounts, etc., is the person themselves verified by not only having the security card, but also having the biometrics to match that. Let's look at the Converged Access Smart Card for physical access and Internet of Things. The issues involved with the current systems is if you have an identification card that has physical access built in, the physical access can be compromised on a lost card because the only thing someone has to have is possess the card. So if a card is lost or stolen, in the time it takes before the access is canceled, there could be user access to a certain area. Cost management identifies that systems are usually already in place, and any solution for increased or better security should work with the existing systems that are in place. And then one-factor authentication means that the user for physical access just possesses the card, and that's what's going to allow them in a standard card. So again, if a stranger has access to your card, they can get in certain areas until cancellation of the account. So again, we can use the Converged Access Smart Card for physical access, and we can use the Converged Access Smart Card for Internet of Things. I'll talk more about the physical access, and then I'll go in a little bit to the Internet of Things. So with the Converged Access Smart Card, there's no need to update the physical access system. So for most systems that are already in place, these cards can work with them. And there's no need for an additional biometric fingerprint reader or anything like that. It's all built into the card. Right? You have the increased biometric security so that if there is a lost card, the user can the person who has the lost or stolen card cannot access the entry into the physical access reader unless they have the biometric. So it secures on that. And in certain cases with the biometric card and also the physical security keys as needed, there is three-factor authentication. So the user possesses the card, inputs their biometric on their card, on the card spot, the card sensor, and they also can be asked for a PIN number. Each biometric Converged Access Smart Card has a PIN number associated with it. So it gives the application for three-factor authentication into such certain access points that are a step up or higher level of access. And that would include potentially a server room, information where like payment information or specific client information like healthcare information. Those can all be used with third-factor authentication. Also, if there's pharmacology or other medicines that are applicable for a higher level of security, higher scheduled drugs, three-factor authentication can be used for that. And we don't promote it to be used for every user in every situation, but it gives you that step-up advantage. And we're identifying the true user who has the card. So it's not just somebody with a card accessing the area. It's someone who is meant to be there, and you can tell that by the biometric. Quickly on the IoT options for the Converged Access card holders. IoT options could include simply as a time card that now you know when that a person is actually coming in. And it's not just the card that's identifying, but it's truly the person because you have the biometric. With the current pandemic, you can also record a temperature and assign it to that person in a database. And there's a number of other IoT applications, specifically also for secured areas when you want to know who's accessing what and what they're doing with that access, right? So that all can be handled with the Converged Access Smart Card. Give a quick overview of the card. So now we're taking the FIDO protocol, which we all hopefully know and love because we're at the FIDO Authenticate event. We can now use this with an all-day wearable smart card to provide converged access for multi-factor authentication, as well as identity and access management in one Fingerprint Biometric Smart Card. So they're not carrying multiple devices. It's not on a key ring. It's not on a separate holding area. It's on the device that's usually carried by most enterprise users where they have their ID and their physical access card. The one card itself serves as the identification card, digital access passwordless multi-factor authentication device, the physical access card, and the IoT interface. Again, that's where software can be added so that when the user checks in, there could be a number of different readings or information on the actual user, which can be tracked by the enterprise. Covering the capabilities of the Converged Access Smart Card, the hybrid, it is a hybrid card, so it has NFC as well as RFID, and it is dual interface. So it has a contact smart chip as well as contactless functions. The fingerprint itself is match on card, which means no additional fingerprint reader is needed. The fingerprint is read by the card and is never transmitted out of the card. It's secure on the on card storage, so it's encrypted. And one other point about the fingerprint biometric, it's not a picture of the biometric itself. It's an array of points of the fingerprint biometric. So even if it was somehow removed, there's no image of a biometric. It's only ones and zeros from certain areas of the actual fingerprint biometric. And the important thing is that there is absolutely no biometric database. So no one has to go through all the extensive protections on creating and protecting a biometric database. The biometric, again, is only stored in the Converged Access Card and never leaves that. The FIDO2 Passwordless Digital Authentication currently works with Microsoft Azure as well as Windows Hello. It works with many single sign-on systems, as well as other MFA applications that have adopted the FIDO2 passwordless protocol. So you want to ensure that whatever protocols you're using does have the FIDO2 application as well as, or in addition to the Microsoft Azure, Windows Hello, and other Microsoft applications. The card itself is based on a Java card operating system. So that means it can be used for additional apps and functions. There might be a PEEV application that somebody wants to use with the other applications. So this device can be used with that. And also if it's used as a payment card, there may be loyalty applications or other applications that you may have as an enterprise can go on to the Converged Access Smart Card. And the Converged Access Smart Card is capable to interface with IoT applications and giving the interface for the specific individual. So it's not just giving an interface where it's communicating with them, but it assures that the person with the card is actually the person that's meant to be there. The card, again, is wearable. It's multi-interface, passwordless, cost-efficient, user-friendly, as well as possessing all of the benefits of the FIDO protocol. And hopefully we know those. The use of a single user, non-connected, non-emitting and contactless system has increased in importance, specifically now in the time of the current pandemic. So the important features of that, it's single user, so that no other user is going to be touching the card. The card doesn't have to touch any systems. It is contactless, so that's important. You can use contactless readers for it to interface for authentication. So it's important to reduce the number of contacts that we have now because of the pandemic. It is non-connected, meaning that it's not tied into any system like a cell phone or another device. So when something is connected to a broadcasting system or a system that has an interface on it, again, like a mobile phone or a computer, there is the possibility exists of hacking. And we're greatly reducing that, if not eliminating that, because the card itself is non-connected. It is also non-emitting, so the device will read will be powered by the RFID and just use in the near area the NFC to communicate, or the contact system to communicate. And it is contactless again. So we're talking again with the current pandemic that it's less touches on the card, and the card touches less things. Additional benefits of the card is that it's capable to function with the existing physical access systems, the current MFA systems, and the identification card requirements. So for the physical access system, mostly all physical access systems can be utilized with this card. So we're not asking the enterprise to update their system or change their system. There's no need to get fingerprint readers. If you're looking to make it more secure, you don't have to worry about getting additional fingerprint readers. The fingerprint only authorizes the card to send and function the correct RFID or NFC emission from the device. Again, the fingerprint biometric is never transmitted through the device at any time. For multi-factor authentication, it's currently compatible with every FIDO2 application, and again with the Microsoft Azure AD, as well as Windows Hello, and that's with certain applications. So make sure that if you're looking to use this for your own system, you have to have a paid version of Azure, and you have to have the current Windows browser or Windows browser at or above 1903, Windows version 1903. And then the identification cards, this card meets the ISO requirements. I believe it's ISO 1786 and 14443 for the RFID. So this system fits in with usually what you're currently doing, and we're more than happy to assist with the applications if you need to do any adjustments on that, but there's no need for new hardware. All right, this is just kind of a summary of the different benefits, and they're all listed there. So really, in terms of FIDO, you're keeping FIDO with you all day long, and you have it. So you're using it in the enterprise system, and you're not being forced to have another device with you. It's all in the device. If you're looking to get in and out of the building, you'll have your ID card. And even if you're not wearing the ID card, it can easily be stored in your wallet or other functionality. All right, let's take a look at what passwordless multi-factor authentication really looks like. And it's important that it's full, swift, and secure. So in that case, it was very obvious that the user has their Converged Access Biometric Card. What you didn't see before then is the card would have to be enrolled in the appropriate software, in this case, Windows Hello. And the fingerprint would have to be enrolled on the card already. And once that is, you can see how easy and quick the login is. And that's a standard NFC contactless reader. There's a variety of those. They can be customized in branding and or color if you need those. But once again, that's just what passwordless looks like. All right, let's talk about why passwordless is important. That there's a number of different studies that have found that most data breaches are from passwords or related to passwords. And these are important in the scheme of things. And that's why FIDO is trying to minimize, the FIDO Alliance is trying to minimize the use of passwords to increase the security of the users. This was I call it the Jeopardy chart of all issues relating to passwords, including cost and time challenges. This was provided by the FIDO Alliance. And again, these all have drill downs on them, but just giving you kind of the overview of why passwords are a challenge. And then most of the attacks that are happening can be resolved or avoided using multi-factor authentication. And that was from Microsoft when they looked at a number of different studies. All right, so just kind of a quick summary. The fingerprint card has the fingerprint enrolled on the card and never leaves the card. It is, again, match on card, so no other fingerprint reader is required. There is a cost savings by combining multiple functions on one card. Again, the uses are authentication, identification, physical access, and IoT. There is no battery in the card, so it's important to realize that. And it adds the biometric security to both physical access as well as passwordless authentication. And it also gives you, with that, the ability to, as we discussed previously, to have three-factor authentication with the card, the biometric, and then potentially asking for a PIN also. And then if you're interested in using this for payments, it does help secure contactless tap-and-go payments for the current contactless payment systems. Right, let's look at some of the components of Converged Access Fingerprint Biometric Card. You notice from the left, there's a microcontrol unit, MCU controller. We also have the fingerprint sensor on the right side. And on the bottom left, we have already loaded onto it applets that allow it to function with FIDO2. And then on the bottom right-hand side, the ISOs that allow it to function as a standard smart card, the 7816 and the 14443. So it will have the look and feel of any card, except the big bonus of it has the fingerprint sensor, and it can do the multiple functions as we discussed. All right. Other applications, other portions of the card is that there's the contact plate for the smart chip on the left side. You have the antenna for the RFID. We do have the status indicators. We have the fingerprint sensor, again, coming down the right side. No battery is required. I've done a number of these presentations, and at the end, I get asked what kind of battery and battery life. The card itself is powered by the RFID, so there is no biometric, there's no battery required for these. And then you have fingerprint matching circuitry, so it functions. So the fingerprint only releases whatever application that you have for that. So that's what allows it to work as well for the Microsoft passwordless applications and also the physical access systems. right? Other things to consider is the security of the fingerprints. Again, they're captured with a match on card, and they're stored into the as encrypted information into the chip. And that is, again, it's not a picture of the biometric. It's an array of points from the biometric. And that's what's matched when the fingerprint is actually placed on there. Again, if someone doesn't have the biometric matching, they're not going to be able to use your card. The speed is very quick to capture, extract, and match the fingerprint. Takes roughly 800 milliseconds. It's just a second for it to happen. Summary of the issue, solutions, and benefits. The passwords, we're out of that business now. If you have this card, you can use go passwordless. You have multiple devices that instead of having multiple devices you're carried around with you, you're using only one wearable card. These are not connected cards. So because of that, you're reducing your opportunity to be hacked. Connected devices, again, are like phones or computers where someone can go online or access the information in the device. And that it works with the existing physical access system. So you're not using someone else's, you're not asked to add fingerprint readers or update the fingerprint system, update the physical access system to have these cards with physical access. So those cards can be used for the different functions, works with FIDO and passwordless, has a very friendly format on there, and there's no need to update the different components. You're reducing the cost and getting more security. So here's a quick video to show some of the applications on the Feitian version of the Fingerprint Biometric Card. Our card has the smart chip, contactless, is hybrid, and has the biometric sensor. Again, the ID card can be used for physical access with the biometric thumb on the chip on the back there. And it could also be used, as we saw previously, for digital authentication. There's a number of different reader options that can be done. Go over real quick how you enroll a biometric fingerprint into onto the card. You go to your Windows sign-in options, and we're going to add a security key. Adding a security key, in this case, it's the biometric card, and you can see that it has the identification on one side and the biometric reader on the other. Always, when setting up a key through Windows and with the biometric, a PIN is required. Then before you enter any biometrics into it, the PIN is required, so no one else can add biometric. The finger is just placed on the device. The sensor on the screen is not reading the fingerprint. The fingerprint is only on the card itself. And here's an example of the card being used for payment. So it can be used for payment also. And that summarizes that. So let's take a look at who is Feitian and what do we do. Feitian builds secure, innovative, and value-priced security products in a number of different categories. So we go wide. Products for authentication, identification, access management, as well as payment. We've been doing this for 20 years. We have about 1,000 employees, with about 500 of those employees working for R&D. We have clients in countries all over the world. Our U.S. headquarters is in Santa Clara, California, in Silicon Valley. Feitian is a member of the Microsoft Intelligent Security Association, and Feitian is also a seated board member of the FIDO Alliance. So kind of wrapping up here, we have our information on our device, the different card options that we have. And I need to wrap up the presentation. Wanted to make sure you knew that the Feitian fingerprint card is one of the 21 devices that Feitian has that is FIDO certified. So our JCOS FIDO fingerprint card is FIDO certified. And then we support this with a number of FIDO keys, as well as OTP keys, etc., and readers. Real quick bonus for enduring this presentation is that we have a page you can go to and also get a 10% discount at checkout, and using the Authenticate2020, all lowercase, no spaces, and you can get a 10% discount. You can use that website address also to ask questions, make requests, or inquire about bulk pricing. And this does conclude my presentation. I want to thank the FIDO Alliance for giving us the ability to be at this event. Please stop by our virtual booth, and if you have any questions, please let me know. So look forward to your action items involving potentially a Converged Access Smart Card, and thank you again for the opportunity.